Welcome to the Vegas Voice Celebrity Corner. I'm your host, Evan Davis, and I'll be bringing you a front row seat to behind the scenes interviews with performers and entertainers here in Las Vegas. Today I have an opera great who's turned a jazz singer, Rose Kingsley. Welcome, Rose.
Oh, hi, Evan. Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
My pleasure. Turning from opera to jazz, I hate to just jump right into those serious questions, but how do you make a transition like that? And now you have to rebrand yourself. What goes on?
Well, I've always had an affinity for singing jazz and spending a majority of my life on the opera stage, which creates a lot of passion and emotion. And now I can, not changing my vocal technique at all, I can take what I have and put it into jazz, which encompasses my emotion and my feelings and my vocal technique, and yet have the freedom to allow myself to do all that. Where in opera, you have to be extremely precise. You have a 100-piece orchestra, and you must go the way the conductor is conducting you with the exact notes and time signatures. But in jazz, I can have fun.
So the transition was easy or fun?
Oh, very easy for me. Very easy for me.
All right. When you first started out as far as opera, how'd you get into that?
Because I originally started out as a ballerina. And danced with American Ballet Theatre and the Royal Ballet in London. And then I came back and danced on the stage of the Metropolitan Opera.
Wow.
And there I was on the stage with these great, great singers. And I realized that a ballerina's life is not exactly a long life. And I fell in love with the passion of opera and decided that I wanted to pursue an opera career and was accepted at Juilliard. And then the Metropolitan Opera asked me to sing for them, and I did, and they took me into the Young Artist Program. So I was really trained at the Met. I had great training, as well as Juilliard.
Tell us a little about some of the people you performed with.
Oh,
I'm
my
sure
goodness.
Some iconic names.
Yeah. Shall I name drop?
Yeah, okay. Definitely. I mean,
Well,
this is your 15 minutes of fame here. You know,
I've been on the stage. I've shared the opera stage with people like Luciano Pavarotti and Placido Domingo. And I was actually in a master class at Juilliard with Maria Callas. And that was very exciting. And then, of course, I was asked to perform, which was exciting for me, the Bob Hope Desert Classic in Palm Desert. And I was on the show I got to sing with Frank Sinatra and Bob Hope and Vic Damone and John Denver. And I was singing opera, of course, at the time. And it was the first time that Bob Hope ever had an opera singer on his Desert Classic show. And it was exciting for me because I always adored Vic Damone. Great, great singer, best pipes in the business. And during rehearsal, he came by and he gave me a lesson on how to use a microphone, because opera singers, we don't use microphones. You know, we have 4,000 people and we have an orchestra, but we're trained to sing without a microphone. So Vic gave me a lesson because I was going to use a microphone that night. So the night of the show, Vic came up to me. I was going to open, and then Vic was going to follow. And he came up to me and he said, "Rose, do you mind if I go before you?" And I said, "Well, no, why?" And he said, "I'm not following you." And I said, "Oh my gosh, Vic Damone." But it's been a great ride. I've sung for 3 presidents, and I also did a command performance for His Royal Highness Charles. So it's been an amazing life. And in my jazz new genre, I had the opportunity to have Tony Bennett come to one of my shows. Michael Feinstein, too. I performed at Feinstein's, and Michael was in the audience one night. So it's so exciting.
What the hell are you talking to me for? I mean, you got all these celebrities, and you've traveled and opened for everyone and been with everyone.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
I'm honored to have
Yeah.
you join me.
Oh,
For,
thank you. Well, I'm honored to be here.
Yeah.
We love Vegas.
When the first time you were on stage, do you remember the first time you got in front of a crowd, an audience, and sang? How you felt?
Let me think that far back because my mother said when I was 2 years old, I sang and danced. Let's see. My first dance recital, I was 4 or 5 years old, and I remember being terrified, thinking I was going to forget my dance steps. But I remembered them, and there I was in front of, we were in a high school auditorium, and I thought, I like this, So I knew I wanted the stage. There was no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Who, if you could pick one or two people who have influenced you most in your career, who would that be, and why?
Oh my goodness, what a question! I've had so many great mentors in my life. One of them I have to say, was my first dance teacher, Myra Witt, and she was the one that really programmed me and told my mom at 7 years old I was going to be a great ballerina. She was right, and so she was a mentor as a child. When I got to the Metropolitan Opera, my opera mentor was a wonderful singer by the name of Roberta Peters. I don't know if you remember her. She was phenomenal, and she was my mentor at the Met, and she really encouraged me and told me, "You have a great future ahead of you." And I guess I have to say, I received a wonderful letter when I did a performance of my signature role at the Met called Salome. And I got a wonderful, wonderful letter from one of my colleagues by the name of Placido Domingo. And he said, "I am just so honored to have you as my colleague." And so all of these have all just, spiraled.
Now the important question here
Yes.
is, what color nail polish is that you have on? It's really just stunning.
It's a pink. I really wanted pink red, but it's a pink.
When you go on stage, when you go on stage, do you sort of say, "I have to coordinate my nail polish and lipstick and everything else"?
I do. I do. It's like, well, if I'm wearing a red dress, I need red polish. If I'm wearing pink, we do pink polish. We do pink lipstick. Yeah, of course. I'm a diva. Yeah.
Important to, I guess, performers in general.
Has to.
I know lots of guys who do that too.
It has to coordinate the color coordination.
Do you sing in the shower?
No.
No?
Never do.
Oh.
No, I don't even really warm up that much before I sing. Oh, really? When you have a good, solid technique, you know where you're at vocally. You don't have to leave your voice in the dressing room, as they've always said. I do a few hums, and I'm done. I know where the voice is.
Now that you've moved over into jazz, how are you transitioning into that? I know, with your voice, I'm not quite sure how that would work, and what you're doing to sort of support that jazz genre and getting away from the
opera. Well, I have a 4-octave range, so I use my lower octave range of doing.
Tell the people what that means, by the way, so they'll understand what a 4-octave range means.
Okay, on the piano, it means you have 8 notes in an octave. So when you multiply that times 4, I have 32 notes I can use, where a lot of singers only have a 1-octave range, and that's all. They vacillate between 8 notes, maybe 9 notes or 10 notes. But I've got 32 notes on the piano that I can go from here to. So I've got that capacity.
So tell me a little about the jazz and what's happening. I want to talk also about shows. You've got about 3 shows coming up soon, and I want to hear a little about what it is, what you're doing, and where it is.
Well, my first show is July the 16th, and it's at the Summerlin Library of Performing Arts. which I love performing there. It's a great, great theater. And we're doing a tribute to the Great American Songbook. My current musical director, Bob Corwin, is Johnny Mercer's son-in-law, who played with Johnny and collaborated with Johnny for over 25 years. And Bob is 88 years old, and we do the Great American Songbook. We do a lot of Mercer songs. As a matter of fact, we just recorded at Capitol Records. I'm a Capitol recording artist now. And we did a Divas tribute to Johnny Mercer. So on the 16th, you're going to hear a lot of Mercer songs like Autumn Leaves, Old Black Magic, Blues in the Night. And it's going to be songs that I think most people recognize. Sure. You know, my second show, can I go on my second show? Go. Is a very interesting show, and that's in September, called The Diva and the Astronaut. And that is quite a show in many respects. There was another side to Rose that most people don't know, that I had an avid interest in space growing up. And actually, at one point, I had to decide, do I want to go into astrophysics, aeronautics, or my music? And of course, my music went out. But when I was living in Houston, singing with the Houston Grand Opera, one of my friends was a flight surgeon at NASA, and he knew my interest in space. And that was the time they were picking civilians to fly in the shuttle. And he said to me, how would you like to be the first artist to fly the shuttle? I was like, oh, my other dream is coming true. And I went over and started training with the astronauts, and I trained in the shuttle simulator, and I flew the KC-135, which gives you weightlessness. They call it the vomit bomber. And but then, unfortunately, after the Challenger incident, all civilians were scrapped. So that's part of the show. And the other part of the astronaut and the diva is when I was a little girl having an interest in space, I had a hero, and his name was Alan Shepard. He was the first American in space and the fifth man to walk on the moon. And I kind of carried a torch for him for 25 years. And lo and behold, I met him 25 years later. And who knew that the feelings I had for him, he had for me. So when you go to see The Diva and the Astronaut, it's quite a show. It's got music. It's got a lot of my memoirs, pictures of me singing opera, videos. And I also happen to know a lot of what happened on the moon that not many people know. So that's going to be a phenomenal show. And then I think our next show after that will be an evening of Andrew Lloyd Webber. And that is a lot of fun.
Where is that one?
That's also going to be, the three of them are at the Summerlin Performing Arts Center.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, it's been wonderful.
So much more. I want to hear more about the astronaut romance.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do that next time. But for now, I want to thank Rose Kingsley for being here. When you can, you'll check her out on rosekingsley.com and see where she's playing and get a ticket and go see her.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. For now, Vegas Voice Celebrity Corner saying see you next time.